Good morning, everyone. In this session, our topic is the return of national sports games. Okay, so why do we need to return? Did we stop at all? Of course, we all know the answer to that question, right? It's all because of this ever popular COVID 19. We all know what it is and what it has done to our daily lives in our home front, at work, in school, even in play, right? And you know how it waylaid in its destructive path the subject that we are all gathered here to address, and that is sports. Okay, so for 2 years, we all know that sports specifically came to a halt because of COVID 19, right? 2 years is a long time not to practice any kind of sport, even just to as a form of exercise. And that's why the Philippine Sports Commission, through the Philippine Sports Institute and the Medical and Scientific Athlete Services uh, components formulated special guidelines on health and safety protocols in a training bubble environment. Okay, what are these guidelines? These are the guidelines formulated specifically for the return to training of all national athletes. And this was spearheaded by our very own PSC Chairman William Ramirez and our PSI Director Mark Velasco. Of course, there are contributions and recommendations from the entire MSAS unit, but this was particularly formulated by Dr. Janice De Vera. Right? Now, and in any training bubble environment, there is what we call a training bubble medical committee, and that is composed of Director Mark Velasco, Dr. Randy Molo, Dr. Janice Ann De Vera, and Dr. Pilar Elena Villanueva. Okay, now uh, just to give you an idea how we will go about in this resumption of training in this time of pandemic or in this time of COVID 19, and as things stand, no, we need to start training. Our national athletes need to start training in preparation specifically for the uh, coming Southeast Asian Games in May in Hanoi, Vietnam. So how do we go about this? Let me dwell into some details, no, so that of course this is to aimed at informing our national athletes of what to expect, no. Again, remember, they are going to train in a bubble environment. Okay? So, to start off with some details, we have the bubble training event details. Okay, of course, location. We have two locations at the moment. No? We have targeted the Field Sports Complex in Pasig and our Rizal Memorial Sports Complex in Manila. Who are the bubble occupants? These are the NSAs involved. No? The national athletes, the national coaches, and the NSA sports staff, and will have the PSI MSAS personnel. Okay, now to start a bubble or to start participating in a bubble, you will have to go in or ingress into the bubble. Okay, so how do you do that? You don't just march in and say, "Hey, I'm gonna come in now and join you guys." No, that's not it. There is such a thing as a pre-ingress RT-PCR testing, which may be any time from 2 to 7 days prior to bubble entry. Okay, that means you will be tested first, no? Because you cannot just go marching in, all right? And on the day of ingress itself, or at the day of ingress itself, there will be another RT-PCR testing to make sure that you are free or clear of any COVID 19 virus. As for the duration of training bubble or how long you are going to stay in a bubble, of course, it all depends on your NSA maybe depending on your sport, how long you need to practice or train. Okay. Now, there will be rather, or there might be at this point, no, some interval testing, meaning while inside the bubble, you will still be tested, no, occasionally, maybe halfway through, or maybe twice within the entire duration of training. And after that, you will have an exit RT-PCR testing before you exit the bubble. So now remember, you tested before you came in, when you came in, during training, and now before you leave. Okay? So that's how stringent it is in a training bubble. Another aspect of the training protocols that was set up by the PSI MSAS are the billeting details. Okay, they didn't. Of course, you will not just take care of how you come in, how you ingress, no. But also, of course, we will take care of how you will stay in the bubble, and this entails identifying rooms for either triple or quadruple occupancy. No more than 3 or 4 in a room. Of course, there will be dining facilities, recreational facilities. This is care of sports psychology and specifically devised for mental resiliency. Because can you imagine staying inside one room, or rather one area, for maybe 1, 2, or even 3 months at a time, no? So you will really need that. Of course, there will be medical room, full medical support, no? And an MSAS services room for physical therapy or rehab, sports massage, and the isolation rooms. The isolation rooms, we won't dwell into that too much, no? But know that these isolation rooms will serve as the rooms, no, where you people, or rather athletes who will be identified as close contacts, or who may develop symptoms of COVID-19, or who may even be tested positive for COVID-19, will stay in these isolation rooms. Okay. There will also be training facilities, no? Which will accommodate dressing rooms, play areas, skill training areas, and even the strength and conditioning area. As for the athlete mental health provisions, we may employ board games, video games, even TV for entertainment, and of course, the ever important Wi-Fi. While the athletes are into deep, serious training inside the bubble, the PSI MSAs will still be there, hovering over and above the bubble to provide on-site and virtual support services. And we have such protocols and plans, okay, for the bubble training. We all know we have the medical and nursing services, again, the sports massage services, the sports physical therapy and rehabilitation services, the sports nutrition services, strength and conditioning, sports physiology and testing. Even that, no, we will do testing. It's already in the calendar, and even sports psychology. One way or the other, sometime or another, or one time or another, the athletes, we will definitely need this. Any and all of these services will be provided on-site and virtual by the PSI MSAS. Okay, so we have pretty much covered all the details that entail training in a bubble, no? Resuming training in a bubble environment. Now, we cannot go into more details as this will take up more than a day and a half at the very least, no? Which we do not have. So suffice it to say that to our athletes, know that we already have these systems in place, these protocols in place to allow you to resume your training in a safe and healthy environment. And as much as possible, we try to maintain a COVID-free environment. No? Now, uh, at this point, I would like to ask everyone to please, especially to our athletes who are going to train in the bubble, to continue practicing minimum public health protocols. Okay? Everyone is still enjoined to continue practicing hand washing, face masking, social distancing, and even maintaining good overall hygiene. And please do not take this COVID-19 virus for granted. Okay, it is not just the training of the national athletes for the coming SEA Games that the PSC is taking care of, no, or is concerned with. Please, let me remind everyone that we still have this PSC initiated national sports like programs like the Batang Pinoy and the Philippine National Games. As for the Philippine National Games, I have it on good authority that it will not be held this year because of because of the SEA Games and even the coming Asian Games, right? But as for the Batang Pinoy, the latest update says that it is targeted for October 2022. We don't have the host city. Maybe it will be co-hosted by several cities, no? And we will follow a semi-bubble setup, and we will come up with the protocols in due time, no? But it will still entail pre-arrival and arrival RT-PCR testing, interval antigen testing, and even pre-departure RT-PCR testing. Same stringent testing results as in those for the national athletes training for the SEA Games. Protocols for athletes who will develop symptoms, be identified as contacts, test positive, will be the same as in the bubble training for national athletes. So just as stringent, okay? If not more stringent, because remember in Batang Pinoy, our athletes are anywhere from, please correct me if I'm wrong, but I think it's from 12 to 15, no? For the Batang Pinoy. So these are very young athletes whom we should take very good care of. And so good luck to all our national athletes. That's it for me. Thank you very much.